And going back to California, I ended up still seeing the guy I was dating. We were still together through all this mess. So the fight started happening again. The beating started happening again. And Child Protective Services found out because of a teacher. And they came to the house and they investigated and they found out what was going on. And they told my mom, either he has to leave the house or she has to leave the house because this is an unsafe environment for her. Mom said, okay. Well, as soon as they left, she said, you know what, just stay in your room and stay out of his way. Don't make him mad. I hated my mom for that. How could you choose this man who's beating me over your own daughter, over your own flesh and blood? Let him stay in the house. You know? How could you do this? So I ran away from home with a friend. Thought she was a good friend. Thought she was a best friend. You know, we're like, oh, you know, we're going to go and run away together. She says, oh, I have a friend, you know, we can stay at his house and, you know, he'll let us stay for a little bit. Oh, okay, yeah, sure. This guy was 28. We were juniors in high school. We stayed there for a night. Next day he comes home. Well, don't think that you're going to just be staying here for nothing. Were the words out of his mouth. I said, you know what, we got to go. We got to go now because I'm not staying here. We got to go. So we waited till he fell asleep, midnight, grabbed our bags and left. Went to a park. She said, oh, I know those people. They're from school. Oh, okay, you know them, that's cool. They were smoking and drinking, so she started smoking and drinking with them. Then she runs out with the guy in the park to go have sex and left me alone there with a group of guys. And that night, I got raped. You know, I know you guys look at me now and say, wow, you know, she doesn't know what it's like to be me. She doesn't know what it's like to have gone through the stuff that I've gone through. But that's my story. You know, once I graduated high school, I went straight into college. My mom started dating another guy. Oh my goodness, I was mad. You know, she divorces her first husband, who used to be me. Then she hooks up with this other guy and starts to stay out all night. And when I wake up in the morning, I have to dress my little brothers to make sure my sister gets to school. I have to make sure they have breakfast. This is a responsibility that's put on me because she's not even home yet from being out all night. You know, and I was livid. I couldn't stand it. I couldn't take it. So she decided to move in with her boyfriend, 4 hours away, in the house that I spent the second part of my childhood, my teenage years. What happened to me? I got left home alone to clean up the mess that she left because one night she said, help me pack, I'm leaving. That next day, I stayed home alone crying, vacuuming up the mess. And I was by myself for a while. You know, I stayed with her friend. It wasn't my friend, it was her friend. But sometimes it almost felt like, well, I didn't have anywhere else to go, so she took me in so I wouldn't be on the streets. You know, and you may be thinking, whatever's happened to you is too hard that you can't forgive. But it's not. Even with everything that's happened to me, God has still given me the ability to forgive these people in my life. I've forgiven my stepdad, and I talk to my stepdad every now and then, even after he beat me, even after he said the things he said to me. I've seen since my stepdad's mom, I hadn't seen her since I was in the 5th grade. When I saw her in 2009 when my sister graduated. And you know, I thought in my head, oh my goodness, she's going to be there at the graduation. How am I going to approach her? What am I going to do when I see her? She told me I deserve to get molested as a child. How am I even going to talk to her? What's going to happen? You know what? God is so awesome. And His love is just so great that when I saw her, I was not angry. I was not upset. I gave her a hug and said hi to her. I kept my mom from fighting with her because of the way, just the ability that God gave me to forgive her for what happened. My mom, just recently, we started talking again, and God's giving me the ability to forgive her, to get over the hatred that I had inside of her, inside of myself for her, because of what she allowed happen to me, because she wasn't there to protect me. You know, and those are some really serious things to have to forgive people for. And I promise you, I know, and I know, and I know, and I know that God had me go through that much stuff in such a short time in my life to be able to stand here today to tell you guys nothing is too big to not be able to forgive someone for what they've done to you. Nothing is so important that you cannot forgive someone. You said, well, what if you forgive someone, but you're afraid of them? Forgiving someone and being afraid from someone are two different things. You can forgive someone and say, you know what, I don't wish you bad anymore. I don't wish that you would die anymore. I don't wish that you would get hit by a car when you're walking down the street anymore. I don't hate you anymore. I forgive you for what you've done for me, and I'm a bigger person, and I'm standing here now to tell you it doesn't affect me anymore. That's what forgiving someone gives you the ability to do. You don't have to talk to them again. You don't ever have to see them again. You don't have to walk around being afraid anymore, because God is not a God of fear that He's going to want you to walk around afraid. Once you truly forgive someone, God's going to take that fear out of your heart, and it's going to be something, a distant thought. You know, you might be thinking, well, you know, I've tried to forgive this person. You know, I've said I forgive them. I've told God I forgive them. But why do I still feel like I don't want them around me? Why do I still feel like I hate them? The question you have to ask yourself is, have you truly forgiven them? The way you know you've actually truly forgiven someone for what they've done to you from the depths of your being is you feel free. You don't feel like they have a hold on you anymore. You don't feel like you're handcuffed to this person because of what they did to you anymore. You feel a weight lifted off your shoulders, like everything's going to be all right. Like you can see this person walking down the street and everything's going to be all right. Now, some of you, you know, maybe you've been hurt by someone. Maybe you've forgiven them already. You know, maybe you're thinking to yourself, oh, you know, that was a good story, but this doesn't apply to me. None of this has anything to do with me. Forgiving someone doesn't necessarily have to be forgiving someone else. Forgiving someone can very well be forgiving yourself. You walk around kicking yourself in the butt because, oh, you know, I did it again. I was watching porn again. Oh, man, you know, I was trying so hard to be good, but I smoked again. Oh my goodness, you know what? That cuss word just came out of my mouth. I couldn't help it. And you walk around kicking yourself in the butt. You walk around making yourself feel bad. You need to forgive yourself from your sins against yourself. Because sometimes we make the worst judgment on our own selves. Every time you look at yourself in the mirror and you're thinking, how could you do that? You're disgusted with yourself. You're just like, geez, come on, seriously? You know better. You have to forgive yourself as well.